watch of. Don't know where to start. It isn't smart, but I've got other plans for us. Although there's so much to be done, it could be fun. Do you think there's time for a quick one? Gigantic living being, several stories. Oh no, run if you can, 'cause Tokyo, Japan is in for big trouble. Looks like Godzilla is real and we're rubble. There's no time to pack. Right. In the skies, we're facing demise from an alien invasion. Yes, he is destructive, and we hope he won't advance. But as it turns out, he might just be our only chance. Save the lizard, he will make, and deadly laser beams up, and he hit upon the path. Hear Godzilla's mighty roar. And so the battle was won, and when it was done, he retreated to the ocean. Turns he will save the earth.
All right, so that was a quick and fruitless experiment. We have the Twitch stream, and then over here on the far right, we have the Facebook chat. So for those of you that would like to chat on Facebook, this over here. You see on your screen, I'm going to try to do this in such a way. 1 second here. I'm going to close that up for a second. Okay, well, can't do that. It's not letting me. Bit until we get this thing working. Exact chat, and a nice person too. My internet has been kind of jerky, so if you guys are seeing stuttering video, please feel free to let me know. I appreciate feedback, and ended up needing a lot of it last week, so consider myself to be a and so I think I have a lot to share with you guys. I'll just share my experience and my insight, and Twitter, or not Twitter, YouTube, brain fart. Anyway, I'm sorry that that things seem to be stuttering. Let me see if I can fix that. Love to interact with you guys. And let's see if I can fix some of this internet stuff over here. Try and get things working a little smoother. We'll see if that helps at all. I'm trying to do some experiments with different microphones. Great. But the site seems to not be so great. So it's great for voiceover work as long as I'm right here. Trying my guinea pig, guys. So this is a question and answer segment mostly about what does an exercise regimen look like on keto? What does weight loss mean? I mean, there's so many definitions for. I think bunk, a lot of Some of the books will be given away later, and I'll tell you how in a little while. William Davis. This is a book that tells you all about why you should never eat grain of any kind. That includes rice, oats, wheat, quinoa, ancient grains. There's none that's necessarily less evil, but we have the paperback and the hardcover book available. And then we have the New Atkins for New You workbook. This is for people who already have the New Atkins for New You. This is for logging and journaling your food and, talking about how it makes you feel and all of that wonderful stuff. So this is a great journaling workbook. I'll give that away to anybody in the continental United States. Anybody who's in the U.S. would like me to send this to them free of charge, book rate. So it's going to be on the slow boat to get you there. Free of charge, I will send you this book, and all you have to do is keep watching, and I will tell you how. Anyway, so today I wanted to focus my stuff, almond flour muffins, and people posting their pictures of their steak and eggs for dinner and whatever is all this marketing for exogenous ketones. So it's interested in is getting the owner of the group a lot of downline and interested in buying a lot of exogenous ketones. Now, if you guys have followed my group for any period of time or my YouTube channel, you know that I do not advocate using any kind of products, that it's important to not rely on products because those products come and go. Like I said, when I was doing Atkins, those products kind of dried up. Then what do you do if you're relying on those products? So rely on real food and rely on things that you can, if you're going to do any kind of processed food, have it be food that you've processed, or butter or all of the above. And, those possible, right? The unscientific way of discounting Weight Watchers is a fad, or we can say all these things, but we're really discounting the value of the other side of the conversation. So I don't even really like to use the word fad, but exogenous ketones, they are not of value to anyone, in my opinion. In my well-read, educated, citizen scientist opinion, as you need. Hey, Blazing Beats, welcome to the chat. Nice to see you saying hello. And Vengeance is officially on his laptop. Sorry that I'm seeing all this stuttering stuff. That's how it really looks. Very strange. But happy guys, but and we're already at a pretty low frame rate. Fix something on Restream here. Yep, keyframes a second is correct. And I'm just going to drop my bit rate down. See what that does. See if I can get that to help any. And anyway, so that's my thoughts on exogenous ketones at it, because I really think that people need to get the message out there that the exogenous ketones are a completely useless product. Or neurological disorder or physiological disorder where they actually require an elevated amount of ketones. They need to get ketones from wherever they can in order for some kind of a physiological therapy effect. Now, this has nothing to do with nutritional ketosis, has nothing to do with weight loss or accelerating your weight loss or anything like that. Exogenous ketones, honestly, there's probably something else in doing the deed. I mean, honestly, exogenous. A question, Blazing Beats. You're starting keto, but you're not sure if you're doing net carbs or total carbs. So Blazing Beats, I have a question for you. and I will give you both sides of this answer. Are you doing keto for weight loss, for health, or for diabetes? Okay, illustrated more ever did to the low carb community. He acts like he almost inflicted the net carbs concept on the low carb community, and was brought into existence, or at least brought to the forefront, by Michael Eads for this purpose. One was to widen the variety of people's green vegetables have a fiber content that is not absorbed, as it's not taken into the body and converted into glucose. It's not digested. It just goes right through the body as fiber. It comes out as fiber. So, but that got reinterpreted, and a lot of people ended up taking things that are very starchy and just subtracting carbohydrate or subtracting fiber amounts, and some of the things like sugar alcohols, which each it seemed to have a very unique effect on each individual person, sugar alcohols. So I say don't really subtract the sugar that I put on type 2 diabetics, because you want to reverse that diabetes, right? You don't want to keep it. People that are willing to live with their type 2 diabetes and reverse it, in essence, reversing the effects of diabetes, reversing the diabetic condition, which is actually a symptom of insulin resistance, then you don't eat vegetables. But if you're talking about like subtracting fiber and sugars, they have to be out to it. It's not like there's some other great option for doing it. The thing that got you insulin resistant is carbohydrate, and you take carbohydrate out of the equation. So okay, yeah. Total is a great, very reliable way to do it. Great way to do it when you're. Sorry about the volume level. I realize that my volume on this microphone is kind of not all there, but total carbohydrate, grams of carbohydrate. Now, Blazing Beats, I don't know if you're in the Facebook group, BroBryceHealth.info. We'll take you right to the Facebook group. If you go there, then you'll see the pinned post has a thing on it for the food list. There's a link there for the food list. So if you stick to the food of the past for you, if you ask me, my experience with it is that it's super quick. And other people, it takes time. Depending on the thing, or the total carbs equation is going to be like leafy green vegetables. And those things, as Michael Eads said, to widen your vocabulary and give you nutrient-dense foods. But it's not meant to give you liberty with junk foods, snack foods, and stuff like that. It's not meant to give you liberties with those things. It's not meant to give you liberty with goodies and some kind of fake food concoctions. So I just wanted to clarify that. A lot of people do net carbs and have great results, okay? I say that with type 2 diabetics, it's really more crucial to really be restrictive with carbohydrate, because that's what got you in trouble. And insulin resistance also is actual diabetes, yet you may not have to be quite as restrictive, and you may have a little more liberty with net carbs, and that means more liberty with recipes and things like that. But diabetics, like, you just want to get rid of that diabetes. Now, down the line, you may have a little more liberty using net carbs for, maintenance and that kind of thing. Once you get your blood sugar normal, where you're not using medication or dramatically reduced your medication, and you may have more liberty with those net carbs. But I say, you know what? Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. And talk to your doctor, especially if you're trying to reverse your type 2 diabetes. Review on thedietdoctor.com. I recommend any guys that if you have a little extra money to spend and you can do like a cheap subscription to a blog that really has a lot of great content and great interviews and great recipes, dietdoctor.com. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Vengeance. I'll see you later, bro. Thanks for stopping in. And she was talking about cutting back on the dosages of these things. And with certain patients, she cuts them back like right away, and other ones she has to wait because there's a certain amount of time that it takes. And in fact, you look that up, Google it or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the right domain name. A physician, paleophysiciannetwork.com. Anyway, you can find a doctor in your area, if possible, that's willing to work with certain dietary restrictions, because trigger a lot of problems. You know, soybean oil, even peanut oil, prefer not to. So I used to suffer with are really kind of mostly non-existent. And a lot of the autoimmune responses that I used to have, really kind of non-existent because, well, I don't around real easy now. You know, it used to be on and off, just kind of swelled up and not swelled up, swelled up and not swelled up. That's water retention. You can feel it, you know it. And, you know, when your calves swell up like mine did, what time is it now? Here on the screen here, there's the phone number, and you can call that, or you can check out the Skype. You can contact me on the air. I got it set up and that kind of thing. And happy to try to talk to you guys about what's going on. How to stay successful on keto when you're the only one in the house doing it. I am 1 week in, 12 pounds down, and already feel better. Hubby is type 2 diabetic and told me today he doesn't want to keto after one. Yes, since we chatted. So that is a complicated issue, Sherry. And you know what? Here's the thing for me. When I started keto, I was very blessed that when I actually started keto to do low carb, it was very difficult because she was, you know, that she's got to get a fix for, you know, crackers and bread and rice and all these grain things would just creep into the house. And I was really, I had a lot of trouble. If it was in a house, I had a lot of trouble with it. If you could get the person to not eat the stuff in the house, really kind of a learning process for both of us the whole time. Jackson tell us the song of the day in just a minute, I'm sure. And so the thing is, your why has to be more important than anything else, right? I'm a Christian, right? I face people all the time that don't believe the same. Face judgment on it. Consider ketogenic nutrition to be like the gospel for this side, right? It's the truth for me. It's the truth. I've studied it. I've spent the time. I spent thousands of hours looking into these studies, not just reading the abstracts, but reading the techniques that they used, reading the methodology, reading who paid for the study. Really finding that stuff out for yourself is a gigantic step forward. It solidifies your resolve. There were like over 380, and my HDL to triglyceride and my blood pressure was high, and I was, you know, I was pushing 285, and you know, at some point I needed to say, you know what, it's not just the weight loss, right? And we have to know, it really helps to start knowing the science behind it, how it actually works. You want to lose some weight. Well, you get to this point where you lost the weight. Now what do, right? That becomes problematic. And knowing what can get you away from that place and keep you away from that place, that's what's gonna, arming yourself with that, arming yourself with the why and the how, science, and why you're doing it. Those two things, that is going to be the resolve that helps you when you're the only person in the house. I know people that, like, they got kids, and the kids got to eat the Pop-Tarts, and they got to have all these things. And I know that their husband or their wife, they are not interested in doing any of this stuff, and they think that it's lunacy. And in fact, like Dan Quibel of the Bacon Experiment, when he told his detail, thank you for that, Jackson. So if you're interested in listening to some sweet tunes, check out Jackson's Song of the Day. Google it up and find it. That's what I do. Like, I'm in Tony Thomas's chat, watching Jackson fire off these songs I'm like Googling it up on YouTube and listening to it in the background. So can't do that here, but you know, we do it over there. Anyway, that is my suggestion. I don't know how well it doesn't always work for everybody, Sherry, and I'm sad to hear that. But I would love it if Andy would call me and talk about it. And any of you guys, honestly, if you have you see that phone number down there, I have it set up. And if you guys are listening to this, if you guys want to ask a question and have me answer it on one of these videos, please leave a message on that phone number right there, and I will bring it up. I'll write it down and bring it up in the next chat. So it's for me to give away a book right now. It's 1/4 till. And so all you have to do is I will ship this book off to you, any one of these books, to one person, the first person that says they are interested in the book. All you got to do is say, hey, I'm interested in the book. Let me know, and I will send you this book. If you're in the United States, I'll send it to you free of charge, book rate. This is for journaling your food and how it makes you feel. So there. And all you have to say is you're interested in the book, and I will send you one of these books. Eat Belly by Dr. William Davis, MD. This book is a really by Dr. William Davis, MD. He tells you all about how he is free and how you should be too, how you should never eat. Promote a lot of Atkins products. I don't promote products, as I mentioned like in length in the beginning of this. Food recipes that are in here, the real food list. There's a lot of solid information, a lot of study information, the science to back it up. This is by Dr. Eric Westman, Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek, PhD. Now, if those of you that don't know, Timothy Noakes, who is a South African doctor, he's on trial right now for teaching people about ketogenic nutrition. Now, he's one of the guys that kind of came up with this whole idea of carbohydrate gels to fuel you when you're doing ultra marathons and stuff. And he, so now to reverse his type 2 diabetes, he read this book, A New Atkins for New You by Eric Westman, Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek. And guess what? He reversed his type 2 diabetes. And he's a much healthier man. He's in ridiculously good shape. That was a side effect of all the inflammation. How for a time I was on medical marijuana, and for the most part, you want to be healthy and live a more productive life. Be there for your daughter and enjoy being out in creation, no doubt. I want to use my life more for God and not be sidelined. Thank you. You know what? That is, there's no better why. Sherry, I would say, I want you to write that down. What you just said there, and you know, if you need to like rewatch this video and put it on pause, and I want you to stick it on your refrigerator and your weight. So lose the weight, right? Your body's going to lose as much weight as it wants to at the rate that it wants to. It's just going to lose the weight. Then what do you do? Like I said, right? You have all these other things written down here, and at least for a while, to be frank, subjecting you to. Because you're going to be smelling it cooking in the house. You know, when you try these things, I've got an extra copy of the hardcover for myself. I would love to send this to you free of charge. So paperback or hardcover. And then I may already have your address because, you know, Andy did. But I want you to send me, private message me that. Yeah, write that down. The weight loss thing is gonna, okay. I was doing low carb off and on and trying to do these things, and I got down from like 285 pounds down to 240 pounds or so. And 2015, I officially started keto because I had done a ton of science work. Well, Sherry, you just need to pick. You just need to be decisive. Some days you just got to put your foot down and say, "Hey, I'm gonna read that paperback or that hardback," and I am pleased to give that to her. And then last month, let me know when you get those things. I appreciate it. And You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, talk to me and give me some feedback. If you're struggling or whatever, or, you know, if I just eat as much as I want of it at work for lunch. It's very satisfying. It's surprising how satisfying, like just pork rinds, not MSG and not just pork rinds. Jackson 45 asks, how much of the Bible do you use for the sake of what the scripture says, which it says that it's, but I don't guy from the dead, but you don't believe that God created the earth. Well, which one is more believable? They're both kind of unbelievable. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jackson. It seems like my internet is really slogging along. Can't wait till I can get a different kind of internet. That'll come someday. Yeah, what internet am I? Upload this backup as a way of saying sorry for the lousy stream, but you guys can still see all of your chat comments and stuff. And if anybody's watching one of these streams, some of these streams, when I give away a book, a lot of people, nobody claims the book by the end of the broadcast, so I give you 24 hours. Now, in this case, Sherry, so I try to spread it out. Say, you know what, put it off for 4 thoughts on exogenous ketones. And this applies to a lot of low carb or any kind of diet products, right? Product. Then there is a countering market created. So when people say that fat is bad for you, then there becomes a low-fat market. So skim milk became like a real thing, right? Skim milk is a big, hot product, and I see a lot of skim milk being sold in the stores. And skim milk is just basically nutritionally void because it's just in case people have digestive problems with it. So anytime you say that now that creates a market for ketogenic, low carb products, right? Products. Well, pork chops have always been low carb, and they're not really like a low carb product. They just are low carb. You know, almonds are relatively low product, some kind of protein bar. It is 5 o'clock, and it's time to sign off for another week. That was shot. Anyway, guys, over on Twitch, on YouTube, and on that you'd like to ask, write them all down and get them prepared for next Sunday's chat at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll see you then. Have a great week. And Glenn Case Music.